Now, you got to keep in mind that this is the first Raw that I watched beginning to end. I can't even remember when I've done this, but I'm hoping to do this regularly. Um, Obviously, they open with the Becky Lynch thing, where she announces that she's pregnant and that Asuka has in fact won the title at Money in the Bank, not just a contract. In typical WWE style, I guess it's unclear whether she has a contract as well as the title. I would assume that she does not. Regardless, we go into after we show the Becky Lynch thing, they go into the opening clip package and all that kind of stuff. One thing that strikes me right away is that in light of the fact that the shows are completely different because they don't have an audience, and we're in the situation that we're all in, that they didn't change the open. I would suggest doing that because, again, it is just another reminder of better times where you had a crowd and there was all this kind of pulsing excitement that the show is not going to be able to match. I know this seems like a minor detail, but it's something to keep in mind. Sort of an acknowledgement of like, okay, we're in a different time, we're doing a different kind of show. That way you can return to that kind of thing once crowds return and it feels like an upgrade. I know it sounds really strange to say, but the contrast of there's no crowd and there's no energy coming from the crowd to showing this open where you have this unusual, like, oh my gosh, look at all this energy, look at all these things, look at all this crowd noise and this pyro and all this stuff. It just comes across as really strange, but that could just be to me. Then you have this thing with Randy Orton and Edge. Randy Orton's promo is basically, I challenge you for just a straight up wrestling match and you have doubts. That brings Edge out. The one thing I noticed about this Raw is almost everything is set up with a promo and then somebody comes out to interrupt the promo. And they do this again and again and again and again. It's really tiresome. And it just, again, it makes this show, which is 3 hours long, feel like it's dragging on instead of this thing that moves at a really good clip. Doing the same thing again and again and again and again, I don't know, it just doesn't really lend itself towards anything, especially when you don't have a crowd to react to these things. Edge comes out and starts to cut a promo, and Randy Orton just basically cuts him off and goes, yes or no? And then Edge goes, yeah, I accept the challenge. And then Orton leaves. Really odd, flat segment. It's strange because the chemistry that these two had in creating the angle, and then we really got literally and figuratively beat over the head with their match at WrestleMania, and now they're having to go completely in reverse and make the fact that they're going to have a regular wrestling match a novelty. Very interesting, but very, very strange. And because we don't go back to this for the rest of the show, kind of a weird way to open the show, really. I mean, the Becky Lynch thing is good. Of course, it was the best thing that they did last week. And it's going to lead indirectly to the angle that we have going with the Kabuki Warriors and Nia Jax that gets sprinkled in throughout the show. But this Orton and Edge thing is not going to play out during the show. So it seemed like a very unusual choice to put at the top. Yeah, that's my thoughts on those segments.